Yay, you guys, I just figured something really cool out. Finally, something positive. Yay. Well, all these ratings have been saying that my family had stolen inheritance, land, and a house. And I keep hearing that repeatedly in all these different readings, all these different readers. So I've been like, well, who in the world would have left me anything like that, you know? And I just kept dismissing it. And then I was in the bathroom a minute ago, and I don't know why I thought of this, but it just popped in my head. It was probably him that did it. He said yes. My Uncle Johnny. He was my grandfather's brother. And him and his wife were the sweetest people I have ever known in my life. They inspired me so much that they actually inspired me to start my channel and talk about true love. They were so madly in love. They acted like little teenagers every time they came by. They would visit my mom's place in Reseda, California. And they would visit probably almost every year, like every other year, every 3 years, depending, I guess, through my whole childhood. I would go down and spend time with my mom and my grandparents every summer in the valley. I'm a valley girl. San Fernando Valley. So when his wife died, I felt so bad for him that I was living in Montana at the time, and I started to write him letters. And I said, you and your wife really inspired me to want to have true love someday. And I said, so I know your heart must be broken, and we became pen pals. We became pen pals, and we wrote each other like, I don't know, once or twice a month or something while I lived in Immigrant, Montana, in Paradise Valley, right next to Chico Hot Springs. It was wonderful. I loved it out there. But he even told me, he said, Amy, I want you to know that I've left you a little surprise when I pass away. And I was like, you didn't need to do that. And he said, I know. I just wanted you to know, though, that there is something in there in my will for you. And I was like, thank you so much. That's really, really sweet. So I can only imagine it would be probably someplace that was very, very special to the two of them. I imagine it being a piece of land that's just one of the most beautiful views they've ever seen, and it's probably overseas. I mean, they loved California and everything, but they traveled so much, and I just even get a hunch that it could be in France or something. But I bet you it's the place they either fell in love or their very favorite place to have a rendezvous or like something really special to their hearts. So supposedly the courts are figuring all of this out, and they're going to be contacting me, letting me know about what happened. And apparently I was like, I never got notified. I never got any mail or anything when he died. I even contacted his family at one point, and they seemed kind of resentful, like I had scammed him or something. Like they were like, who are you, and why have you been talking to our father? And I was like, okay, this is weird. It was just like they were really on guard. So I'm thinking that somebody, possibly my jealous stepmom, could have intercepted my mail, according to the readings, again, intercepted my mail and said that I was either dead or crazy. Again, having to keep confirming that I'm crazy, right? Keep that narrative going so that it can validate the fraud from before, or when this, maybe it started when this happened. I don't know, but anyway, so that's the first person that it popped in my head, and he started crying in spirit when I figured this out. And I was like, somebody in my family loved me. Like, yay. They weren't all trying to kill me. Jeez. And it made me cry. I was like, Uncle Johnny loved me. Yay. I knew he loved me. I loved him so much too. I wish I could have spent more time with him. But yeah, when he started crying and he was so happy I figured it out, I was like, okay, I got it. The other person that I would have thought would have left me something would be my grandma, my dad's mom, Peggy. She lived in Simi Valley, California, another place I absolutely love with all my heart. She would have wanted me to have her place, I think, because that place holds my very favorite memories. I don't have many good memories as a child, but I will tell you, like, anything I can think of, like going to my happy place or whatever, would be at my grandma's place. It was so magical, and she knew that I appreciated that. She even saw ghosts in that house. She said one time that she was in the shower, and she had a ghost like hand her her grandchildren's toys in the shower while she was taking a shower, or something, kept handing her the toys. And I was like, how did you handle that? And she says, I just said thank you and kept putting them back in the basket. Thank you. I was like, I don't know how I would take that. I probably would do the same thing as her right now, but when I was a kid and she told me, I was just like, whoa. So anyway, it was such a beautiful home, and it had this I don't know what the plant was, but there was like this patio area with all these gorgeous overgrown I don't know, trees, bushes or something, that were like these bright pink flowers that were just gorgeous back there. And all these like stones had all these different colors, like turquoise, and I just remember them just being multicolored. And there was a big, the backyard was so beautiful. It was just like there's this big long area where you could do barbecuing or cooking outside, or cooking in an outside oven even. It was real long and a really cool, like what is it called, a pagoda, whatever it's called, that like goes over. And clematis, is that what it is? Clematis. There was clematis all over, and even in this, like the seating area and stuff. It was dreamy. It was dreamy for me as a kid. It was so dreamy. And I loved everything about that neighborhood. And there was like a Christmas, there was a Christmas street that you could drive down, and she knew how much I was into Christmas and Christmas lights. And we always, took a look at the lights that were on display and everything. So that place was really special to me too. And I would have thought that she would have left that to me. Just because, when you leave something to somebody, you want it to be loved and appreciated like you did, So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to find out the truth about all of this. I'm just thinking out loud with you guys, because it was like, oh my gosh, they loved me enough to save something for. I don't even care about even if maybe the places aren't even there anymore or anything, or maybe everything's gone. I don't know, but I just it touches my heart that they love me enough to leave those things to me, and to know that I would appreciate them, because I would have, or still would, I guess, if I get those back from the scammers. Anyway, but I just can't believe, it's so hard to believe that my whole family would keep all these big secrets from me. And I don't know, it's just going to be interesting to see, what I'm going to find out, because I'm sure it's much, much bigger. And even, I've always suspected the military was looking out for me, and I got confirmation last night. I posted it on YouTube here. And it's really funny, because you guys got to watch that reading. It's about the military's been like protecting you for years. And I've had that hunch, and that was great confirmation. But she says why in that video. And then about halfway through, though, she starts talking about how you're just blissed out. You're loving yourself. You're loving life. You're loving God. And all of a sudden, you find out all this stuff. Like, you're just like, people do that? Like, what? And it's like, not only do people do that, but your family isn't who you think they are, and they're not, at all, like everything is like the Truman Show. And I was like, damn, that's totally how I've been feeling. Like, just blindsided by all of it, going, what the hell? Like I don't get people who would do voodoo and black magic and stuff. I don't get it, let alone like scamming and frauding and just keeping it from, somebody in the family, and even like plotting for their murder and stuff. It's like, that is just so beyond anything that I could possibly comprehend, that it's been blowing my mind. So she starts laughing so hard, though. I've never heard her laugh like that, and she got me laughing really hard, like, because I was like, it is really funny, like, how I got hit with it. Like, I woke up quick, and I woke up fighting, man. I woke up with my fists up, like, all right, who's gonna fight me now? What's going on? Like, where the hell am I? And who am I? And who's my real dad? And like, was I adopted? What's going on? Oh, you have to like talk about, like, you have to go through the awakening. You guys know the awakening is already so much to take in. Just knowing what's going on in the world and all that stuff, let alone your personal life. Your whole life could be a lie, or could be, major parts of it were missing. I would have loved to have lived in California. That was my favorite place in the whole world, and my family knew that. So I had 2 chances there to possibly, I don't know what Johnny was going to leave me, but, I would have loved to have moved to Simi Valley. That would have been my dream come true. So it's just crazy, the whole thing. And like, you having to wrap your head around that and keep an open mind and not lose your shit over this, it's like, it just shows that I've never really put a lot of, I've never really attached to things like that. You would go crazy if you were too attached to your identity at a time like this, when it looks like everything in your life is a lie. You would lose your mind. You would. But because I've been working on myself and healing myself for many years, and focusing on that instead, and focusing on my relationship with God and learning to love myself, it's only because of all that hard work that I did that I'm able to keep my stuff together, and I'm able to keep an open mind about all of it, and just consider what I'm about to hear from the courts and what I'm about to hear from this investigator, and whatever comes to light. Like, I'm ready to hear just about anything at this point. I'm sure the military has something to say too about all this, and I'm just going to be like, what? What? But, God's definitely done a good job, like, getting me ready to hear all this, because at this point, I'd believe just about anything. I just talked to a friend of mine. I said, you're not going to believe this. And she goes, Amy, there's nothing I wouldn't believe out of your mouth. Like, nothing would surprise me. I would never be shocked. And I'd believe all of it. Like, what, I've learned that about you. It may be shocking, but it's going to be true. So I thought that was so funny. She's like, I would never be surprised at anything coming out of your mouth. So anyway, just was sharing that with you guys, because I'm sharing all these discoveries with you. And, yeah. Jeez. Life isn't like we thought it was. We need to also, like, I think they're putting some of us through this first too, so that when a lot of these other people find out that are like, think about our grandparents and our, people who've lived in these small towns forever, and they think Fred and Phil on the side of the hill are like, these good old town boys, and they're actually pedophiles. Or like, they've done, they do a bunch of things down in an underground community, and they've been torturing people and crazy shit like that. They're gonna be like, what? So I don't we gotta be there for everyone when they find all this out. And there's just going to be, everything surfacing right now. It's all getting exposed. Thank you, God. He's doing it so gently and so miraculously. Like, I had a couple miracles happen earlier today that I'm not going to tell you guys about yet, but I was kind of flabbergasted. I've been talking to God about it. Like, what happened? What was that? Like, what? But I'll tell you guys at the right time. I have to use wisdom and discernment with what I share with you guys, but I do share with you what I feel comfortable and prompted to share with you. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.